Good morning, everyone. It is hump day, woo woo, April 28th. Here we are taking a look at our futures. Let's quickly talk about what we have going on today. Not just do we have a bunch of earnings. Yesterday we had Microsoft and Google, AMD, Visa. So a lot of big earnings yesterday. We have even more today. We have Facebook. We have Apple. Oh my goodness, the list goes on and on. Please check the market news channel. I have them all listed there, all of the earnings that are coming today. You can always go to earningwhispers.com. They have a great calendar downloaded. It's also posted, like the big ones for the week are posted there in the market news channel. Go look at it and keep track of those. Remember, if you're in something that, pretty much all the sectors are reporting, it seems like, right? So if you're in like MU and AMD reported, those things can move in sympathy. We've got to remember that. So anyway, this is what we look like. Super flat in the SPY here. In fact, the NASDAQ's down 24. The Russell is down about 10. Dow is down about just shy of 80. Now, oil is up. Gold is down, and the S&P is flat. Like I said, just you can see right there, super flat. So what is all this going into today? Well, yesterday, Google, I just put that in the wrong spot. Hold on. Google reported, and they are sitting very pretty here. Up from the 2300 area where they closed yesterday. They're at 2406, almost 2407 here this morning. So they are looking good. Now these, how would I trade these? If they've had really good earnings, I think I would just day trade them today. But I'm going to get into some other issues with that. Day trading today and see if they hold a level or if we get a nice little pullback, and then you can trade and watch the news continue if it chooses to do so. AMD, another one. Did just really well on earnings. They closed yesterday just above 85, and they're sitting at 88.75. But then we had Microsoft here, and Microsoft just the opposite. So Microsoft closed right around 261, 262, and it's sitting on the 20 at 254.85. So here's what I would look at. Day trades on any of these, but watch Microsoft for a reversal. So what would I look for in that? I would maybe mark off the pre-market low or mark out an hourly candle. And as it comes back up through a candle, that's where I would look to take it. Again, day trades. Now, here's the other thing that we have kind of layered on top of all of this. And those ranges for anything with earnings, the Apple, Facebook earnings, we've seen really not nearly as much action going into the earnings on a lot of these names, right? So not maybe as much volatility that day of, but we could always get some. Here's the other thing we have today, FOMC. The FOMC is at 2 o'clock, and then, of course, at 2:30 they have the question and answer. What is expected? Well, I think more of the same. I don't think anything's really going to change. They aren't going to change rates. I mean, they have indicated that rates won't change for some time, and now I know that they adjust that. Like, well, they'll come out and say, well, through 2022 we're not going to. Well, maybe through 2023. Well, maybe. Okay. Well, they're just not going to do it this time. Remember, we get that FOMC decision, and whatever way the market goes, kind of initially, we a lot of times have that reverse, right? So just keep an eye out on that. Maybe gold will take a little bit of a move on it, but gold itself has just been incredibly weak. Like, let's take a look at the gold futures, because I get asked a lot about gold and when is it going to do something. I honestly don't know. So we never want to anticipate when something should do something. We want to participate with the move, because otherwise you can really get your butt smacked. But gold has not acted as we historically look for it to, right? Typically, it is a flight toward safety, and we've not really seen that in our times of panic in the overall market that we've had, in the last several months. We just haven't seen it, not to the same extent that we would typically see it. So, gold, I think it's being redefined. I think the precious metals are kind of being redefined right now, and that has a lot to do with people putting their money maybe into crypto or in all these other types of vehicles that we have out there. There's a lot of SPACs out there, and they And IPOs this year, IPOs in the last year have just been, I mean, we've had so many of them. So I think there's just a lot of other places that people are actively investing versus just stick it somewhere and say, okay, this is good. And that's my 2 cents on it. That being all said, I'm not putting out any specific plays today because we have FOMC. And then this evening, the president is giving a joint session, a speech to the joint session of Congress. And he's going to be talking about his infrastructure, tax plan, spending bills, and how that looks. And I think that that is kind of looming over the market now. Several people have told me, well, this is what he said he was going to do. Absolutely. I'm not arguing that. What I am going to say is as soon as you say taxes, and I don't care if you say we're only going to tax people that make $20 million a year, which is not what we're doing, but people don't like the word tax. It is a very dirty 3-letter word. We just don't like it. And so I think until we really get in and see the numbers and, of course, what they propose versus what can get passed, 2 different things, but we, typically the market will kind of knee-jerk off of it and then it'll digest it and come back in. So I think there's a lot of that uncertainty, which markets hate too, that's kind of floating around, and it's made the markets incredibly boring. In fact, yesterday in the chat room, there were a lot of jokes going around like, oh, please just let Trump tweet so we have something to do. I get it, because it is really boring. And I think it's just going to be that way until we get through a lot of this uncertainty. Okay, so sector I do kind of like here is oil. Still like oil. So we had this really nice climb. Pretty choppy here with the 50. We've kind of stuck in here. I like that we stayed above this point of control area, above this little higher volume. This volume profile kind of shows us where people were sitting. Buyers step right back in to push it up. So I like the look in oil, in energies. And there's a lot of names you can look at. You can look at, of course, your big names like your Exxon, Chevron, Phillips 66, Marathon Oil, ConocoPhillips. There's all of those. There's Diamondback Energy. So FANG, there's a lot of these plays. Take a look at these plays. They're setting up as really nice swing trades. In fact, oil to me is sitting in just a beautiful spot here, I think, to set up for the next swing trade. If we get the follow through in the oil, right? We just don't know that's going to happen. It's been a little hinky lately. So we're looking for that follow through. So I do like some of those names. The energy sector, you can always play XLE if you wanted. That's a good basket. The other that I'm watching is XLF. I still have XLF. I have really good profit on this. I might just go ahead and take that out and put it somewhere else. I bought these out to June, and I've been in and out of certain facets of it, right? So we sold part, we bought some back, we sold some, we bought some back. So right now I am holding it, but thinking I'm going to go ahead and, take that out, maybe look for a new setup, really good profit in there. So I think that might be the time to go ahead and cash that in here today. So use your own judgment if you are still in. I know most people have not stuck with it. Totally fine. You take your profits where you see them. XLF just been a really good player here for us overall. And looking at the XLE for energy, I really like this XLE here. It is up over the 20 now. On the XLE, you can see we've got a lot of congestion right here. Move to the 50. I would use the 20 as a stop. We're at 48.70 here pre-market, so just above that 20. I would want to see that 20 hold, play for the 50, and maybe hold on. So looking out, a little bit further, at least June, maybe even out to September in energy. Okay, so that's it for me today. If you have any questions, be sure to send me an email, heatherc@givingtreetrading.com. Hit me up on the Facebook, or not Facebook page, the Twitter, if you haven't signed up for that, at Trading Rebels or at Giving Trading, or of course in the chat room you can always send me a message. I hope you have a fantastic Wednesday. We will try to do something exciting because it's been incredibly boring. We've been playing music during the day, and I'm sure some people are like, well, that doesn't seem like a good use of my money. Well, sometimes just holding on to your capital is a very good use of your money. So, okay, if you have any questions, be sure to reach out. I hope you have an awesome Hump Day Wednesday. Woo woo!